What's going on, guys? Convoy back again with some more Black Ops gameplay.
Hey guys, it's TheBrotherhood here.
Yo, what's going on? It's X Savage here, bringing you Wii game.
What's going on, guys? I'm Zico. Welcome back to the Black Ops 2 gameplay commentary.
Call of Duty, one of the most popular and best-selling game series of all time. Back in the day, millions of people logged on, played each day, and enjoyed Call of Duty's fast-paced, arcade-style action. Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, and Modern Warfare 3. All of these games played an unforgettable role in my middle school and high school years, and I'm sure many of you can relate to that as well. If you're a fan of my videos or have been following me for years, there's a chance that our Call of Duty experience was a little bit different from most. Why is that? Well, we played Call of Duty on the Wii. That's right, the fast-playing, Twitch reaction shooter that everyone knows and loves, on the Wii. Yep, we were ridiculed countless times, laughed at for our 480i potato graphics, crazy control settings, and lack of post-launch support, but that didn't stop us for a while. Out of the many millions of people who played Call of Duty, just a tiny portion played on the Wii or Wii U. The Call of Duty Wii community was a small, unique, friendly, and tight-knit community who seemingly enjoyed playing on crappy graphics while swinging our Wiimotes around at our TVs. So what made our community so special? Over the course of this video, I hope that I can capture at least some of our community's best features and favorite memories so that we can all watch this back one day and reminisce about the good old days. I wanted to make this video so we could remember the awesome, intense, and epic moments that we shared together as a community. Before we get started, help me out by smashing the like button and sending this to all of your old Call of Duty Wii friends. It took me a while to plan, write, and script everything, so I really do appreciate it, guys. I hope you all enjoy. Let's start at the very beginning. Call of Duty released its first two titles, Call of Duty The Finest Hour and Call of Duty Big Red One, for Xbox, PlayStation 2, and Nintendo GameCube in 2004 and 2005. All of these games included online multiplayer for the Xbox and PlayStation 2, but Nintendo's GameCube is missing the multiplayer altogether. When 2006 arrived, the Nintendo Wii was released and Call of Duty 3 accompanied the console as a launch title. Again, Call of Duty 3 included a single-player campaign, but was lacking a local and online multiplayer game mode. The Nintendo Wii was a huge success. It provided a unique combination of enjoyable and entertaining games with a novel controller experience never before seen in the gaming community. The new Wii Remote controller also provided a completely unparalleled experience when it came to games like Call of Duty. Although Nintendo later developed the Classic Controller Pro as a dual analog counterpart to the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, many earlier games only allowed for the use of the motion controls, including some of the early Call of Duty titles. This meant that, for the first time, gamers could experience a hardcore game like Call of Duty with motion controls. Just check out this cheesy advertisement from 2006. Call of Duty 3 was a success as well. Surprisingly, despite the increasing quality of Call of Duty Wii games over the following years, Call of Duty 3 was actually the best-selling COD title for all of Nintendo's consoles, including the Wii U. It sold 2.24 million units to date. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was released the following year for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but it skipped over the Wii for some reason. Fortunately for Wii players, World at War was announced the following year, and we were in for a treat. Following up on the massive success of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which sold over 7 million copies in 2007 for the other consoles, Call of Duty World at War was a World War II shooter that included a single-player campaign, an online multiplayer mode, and the first iteration of the fan-favorite Nazi Zombies game mode. However, for the Nintendo Call of Duty gamers, This was the first game that featured an online mode, which changed the fan base for good. This was the start of our online Wii Call of Duty community. Let's get the differences out of the way first. Even though the Wii version featured an online multiplayer, it was lacking in so many other ways. I personally think the online mode of this game was more or less a test for the game developers to see how many people would play and how the online infrastructure and servers would work on the Wii. Was it possible to get a good Call of Duty online multiplayer experience on a weaker Wii console? Starting with single player, there was no co-op campaign, there were missing levels, missing death cards, no in-game achievements, no gore or gibbing, not even the ray gun Easter egg in the Little Resistance mission was included in the Wii version. Other interestingly small but noticeable changes are present when compared to the other consoles. Outfit changes, Reznov's bloody and bandaged hand, and different animations or cutscenes. All in all though, World at War provided a solid, engaging, and fun campaign mode that did not disappoint. In World at War, once you completely finished the campaign mode, a secret zombies mode was unlocked. This was the first time that Treyarch included these Nazi zombies in a game, and it would undoubtedly change the course of Call of Duty history with its popularity among fans. However, and I'm sure you're noticing a trend by now, the zombies mode was absent from the Wii version of the game. When I was playing this game as a 13-year-old middle school student, I spent hours trying to find out how to unlock the zombies mode. The young and unwise Comboy did not quite understand. This was my first Call of Duty, and I was given this game as a gift for my birthday. I played the campaign, not knowing what Call of Duty was or how excited people were about the series. A few months later though, my family switched from a dial-up internet connection to a wireless Wi-Fi internet. At that point, I was just looking through some of my old Wii games and seeing if any of them had an online mode available. Call of Duty World at War just happened to be the first game I picked up, so I popped it in, started playing multiplayer, and needless to say, I'm still playing Call of Duty more than a decade later. Multiplayer was by far the most popular mode for most people. Again, on the Wii it was lacking, but it was extremely fun. Just listen to this. The Wii version of World at War only had 8 multiplayer maps. It had no tanks, it had missing perks, it had missing equipment, and it only featured 3 or 4 different game modes. Interestingly enough, it did feature a game mode exclusive to Wii players, called Team Survival.
Yo, what's up guys, it's Combo here. I got a nice little 1v4 clutch here on Team Survival on the map Dome.
This mode was a hardcore game type and had just one round with no respawning. Ultimately, you won the game by eliminating the entire enemy team first.
We bring honor to the Emperor and all of Japan!
These matches were long, campy, and glitchy, and the team who won was usually whoever could get into the map-breaking glitch first.
I'm telling you right now, when I play, I shoot all the glitchers, and if you're gonna glitch the whole game, you're gonna be dead. So I'm gonna shoot you. I'm just letting you know that now.
World at War Wii was full of them. The best part, the game launched with no patch system built in at all, meaning Treyarch could not patch or even hotfix these glitches. Once you knew how to do them, you knew them forever. This was a common theme throughout all of the Call of Duty Wii games, although it did get better as the years went on. Whether it was because of the lower graphics quality, lower rendering power of the consoles, or lack of quality control before release, the Wii versions of the game always had more glitches than their Xbox and PlayStation counterparts. Regardless, videos littered YouTube with how to get under the map in Cliffside.
It's on this rock, you want to go towards this crack right here, just walk forward and jump. There we go.
How to get in the roof in Macon.
Now, the one spot everyone knows, or if you don't, you will now. It's up here. You hop up on this pillar, then you jump as hard as you can and far all the way across.
And how to get into the boot camp game mode at any level.
Alright, so then you're going to join a room, and the match beginning, when that timer reaches 4, press A and B at exactly the same time. Guess what's unlocked?
These glitches were undoubtedly game-breaking, but in a weird way, it made the game more fun and unique. I remember being in clans that would spend hours in private matches, just searching for glitches on a handful of maps. We would turn on double health, so we could satchel jump or bazooka jump out of the map boundaries, under maps, and whatever else. Admit it though, we all glitched at one point in multiplayer. We all virtually humped this crack in the rock here in Cliffside until we fell under the map, or hit A and B on the Wii remote simultaneously to get into a lobby full of noobs just to pub stomp. Who could forget those crazy bipod glitches where you would attach your bipod to a random spot on the map and just kind of start floating up in the air? You name it and you could probably glitch it into existence on World at War for the Wii. Ultimately though, World at War provided a great multiplayer experience and was the best Call of Duty Wii game at the time. It would set the stage for future Call of Duty Wii games.
50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
The sequel to Call of Duty World at War for the Wii was surprisingly not Modern Warfare 2 like on the other consoles, but Call of Duty 4 instead. They called this one Call of Duty Modern Warfare Reflex, or MWR for short. Following up on World at War Wii's success of nearly 2 million copies sold, this game sold slightly less at 1.5 million copies. This game had slight graphical improvements, but excelled past World at War in many other ways. Modern Warfare Reflex provided improved Wii Remote and Nunchuck controller support, including new gestures, motions, and had single-player cheats, more customization, and even twistable guns that were manipulated with your Wii Remote. As for multiplayer, all game types were included with the exception of Ground War. The player count also increased from 4 vs 4 in World at War to 5 vs 5 in Reflex, and all of the equipment and perks, minus eavesdrop because we didn't have in-game voice chat, were included. They improved the party system and added host migration from within the pre-game lobby. However, there was one huge problem with the online multiplayer, known to the community at the time as lag shooting. Lag shooting was different from the normal lag that you might experience in any Call of Duty game to this day. It resulted from within the game's coding itself, as opposed to one's online connection, and applied to everyone but the host of the match. What exactly was lag shooting? Pretty much, if an enemy was moving in one direction, the hitbox for that enemy was not properly aligned with where it should be. More specifically, you would have to shoot ahead of the enemy in the direction of their motion. So if the enemy was moving right, you would have to shoot even further right for the game to register a hit. However, when you were the host, you were at a huge advantage because the hitboxes worked on enemies as they should have. As you could imagine, this was a huge turnoff to many people, and again, because the game launched with no patch or update system, it was unfixable. It turned many people away from Call of Duty on the Wii and towards other consoles. But if lag shooting had a saving grace, it would be that the hipfire accuracy in this game was 100%. Again, you could only use the Wii Remote and Nunchuck in this game, but when hipfiring, 100% of your bullets would go where your middle reticle dot was. We didn't have hipfire spread like in the other consoles. This changed the game dynamic compared to the PS3 and Xbox 360 because most gunfights in this game would essentially be from the hip. The best players on this game rarely aimed down the sight because their aim while hipfiring was accurate, even at a long range. If you ever feel absolutely useless in life, just remember that steady aim was actually a perk on the Wii version of this game, despite 100% hipfire accuracy. Modern Warfare Reflex was also the first game that hackers began to multiply. Although World at War was hacked too, it was more rare. In Modern Warfare Reflex, codes became easier to obtain, and the Wii became so easy to hack that pretty much anyone could do it. Reflex was also the first game where the developers put a lot of attention and detail into your control setup. You could adjust pretty much everything and find the perfect controls for you. I recently came across a really well done video about the controls on this game. It was made by Lagshooting, and I'm just gonna throw in a couple minutes here, but please be sure to check out the full video. I really enjoyed it.
You can combine gesture, motion, and button presses to maximize the amount of output you can get out of this thing. There's this whole crazy control scheme built specifically for the Wii Zapper that really puts these tilts in use. And the best part is that if you don't like it, you can still make your own custom one by assigning each action to some input. I, for example, didn't like pressing a button to reload, so instead, I mapped it to a shake of the nunchuck. And I remember as a kid, what I would do is instead of actually shaking the nunchuck, which required like a big shake, what I would do is I would kind of tap it into the Wii Remote because the collision would trigger it also, and it kind of felt cool because like here I am, I run out of ammo, and then I slap another mag into the thing. Also worth note, at the time, an FPS standard feature, leaning to look around corners, was never available on consoles as designers couldn't figure out how to map it to controllers. So it remained a PC exclusive feature until the Wii version, which allowed you to lean and peek around corners by rotating the nunchuck. So alright, great, the game lets you set your own gestures and controls. That's pretty good. That alone is sufficient to solve our first problem. Oh wait, Infinity Ward, you're not done? You can do more than this? What? Now here's where things start bouncing off the walls. Okay, look, I wouldn't say this unless I actually meant it, and I hate making statements like this that sound unbelievable, but you can modify and change literally everything in this game to your liking. The thing is though, the developers of this game, likely realizing how particular people can be when it comes to motion controls, well, they opened everything up to you. You can spend hours just tweaking your controls. It's that broad. You can change your aim zone, both for hip fire and when aiming down sights. You can change your vertical and horizontal speeds when rotating your view, both from the hip and from the sights. You can choose whether or not to enable camera lock that holds your point of view in place and allows you to aim freely within it. Sort of like a locked strafe, but with free aim. I mean, look at how smooth it makes that part in the tanker where you're shooting guys from like across that little bridge thing. On any other version of the game, you couldn't do this because adjusting your aim adjusts the position that your character is moving. You can customize everything to do with the pointer and reticle. You can change the color, you can eliminate it completely, you can change the shape of it, you can change the boldness of it, you can change the opacity of it. Apparently when I played, I liked it thick as Hamish Black. You can choose what your character should do when you aim off screen. Should they continue to turn around indefinitely, or should this lock the camera? Like, I'm not joking when I say that you can spend hours, and that you likely will spend hours staring at this screen, making slight modifications until you eventually come to some control scheme that you think just matches your playstyle perfectly.
We never ended up getting Modern Warfare 2, but Call of Duty Black Ops was next in line, and this game would not disappoint. Black Ops Wii was released in 2010, and in my opinion was probably the best all-around Call of Duty Wii game. I remember being so hyped up about this game's release. I went to GameStop to wait outside for midnight on the day before, and I was about 15th in line with my dad. By the time I reached the front, I got the usual question from the cashier: PS3 or Xbox? I replied, Wii. With a chuckle, he handed me a copy of Black Ops Wii. I paid, and I was on my way home. In the US, Call of Duty used to always release on the second Tuesday in November, which always happened to be election day as well. Because my school was used as a voting venue, they closed the school that day each year. Luckily for me, I got to play the new Call of Duty through the night every year. When I got home, I popped the game in, and I did just that. The first thing I noticed after I grabbed the game at midnight and played my first match: no lag shooting.
From what I could tell from the first two matches I played, there is no lag or hit detection lag at all. I mean, you shoot where he is, just like a PS3 or an Xbox, and you get hits on him.
This was a huge deal to the community at the time, and I remember being extremely excited about that. I uploaded my gameplay shortly after midnight, and the video took off. I remember checking my email the next morning in school and seeing almost 50,000 views on my new video, and hundreds of new subscribers. This was the game that most of you probably subscribed to me through, and the memories I made on this game and on YouTube will stick with me for the rest of my life, and I thank many of you for that. Anyway, continuing with Black Ops Wii, this game was huge for us. It was the first Call of Duty Wii game to feature voice chat, and they even made an earpiece headset to buy just for this game. I still have mine, see? This game also had an improved ally code system to add your friends through friend requests. You could also send text messages to your friends, and it featured the most complete multiplayer experience ever on the Wii. It also included a zombies mode and a killer campaign mode. However, the game did not include the camera spike equipment, the chopper gunner, gunship, and Valkyrie rockets in multiplayer, among a bunch of other small details that made this game unique. The Wii team at Treyarch surely blew me away with this one. I had over 30 days played on this game, spent countless hours leveling up to max level, raging over the FAMAS, and, of course, making YouTube videos. Although this game initially showed promise for downloadable content and map packs, we never received any, unfortunately. Around the time the first map pack was about to be released for the other consoles, hackers on the Wii actually found some map pack files for the DLC maps within the latest Black Ops Wii patch, but we never received anything further from there. In my opinion, it was amazing that this game ran so well on the Wii. It really pushed the console to its limits though, and soon after release, the game started bricking people's Wiis.
There you go. The fatal disk drive era.
It was too demanding on the console's hardware, and some older Wiis were breaking. More specifically, their optical drives. Nintendo noticed this issue and subsequently offered to fix bricked Wiis for free for a while. Eventually, they wanted Activision to start paying for these repairs though. When Activision refused, Nintendo did not release any DLC for Black Ops Wii. At least that's how the story goes. It makes sense, but I still can't confirm if this is the true reason we never received DLC. This was also the first time we got a zombies mode on the Wii. The downside? There was only one map, Kino der Toten. We had a ton of fun on this map though. As always, people found easy glitches to do that still aren't fixed to this day, and got to very high rounds. Zombies was just another reason why Black Ops Wii was incredible. I remember spending hours with friends just on this game mode. Lastly, this was the game that finally got a lot of YouTube personalities recognized. We saw some Machinima partnerships, including Dazran303 and myself, and other YouTube channels from the community getting partnerships. It was definitely an exciting time for us. Modern Warfare 3 released the following year for Wii. Again, since the Wii did not get Modern Warfare 2, this game was highly anticipated. The game released on November 8th, 2011, and again, I bought it at the midnight release. I ran home, made a YouTube midnight release video, which is still my most viewed video on my channel despite YouTube removing it years ago, and I managed to also get a Moab within hours after popping the game in at first, and that video did really well too. Unfortunately, some of the progress that came with Black Ops Wii was lost in Modern Warfare 3. It almost took a step back at first. There were many problems on launch, and unfortunately, Lagshooting was back in the game. Also, a lot of people experienced issues with their Wii freezing and their save files getting corrupted, resulting in many players having to completely start over their accounts. Either way, a few weeks after release, Treyarch patched these things, but managed to mess up some of the score streaks in the process. The assault streaks didn't kill people unless they were standing completely still. It was definitely a good way to get rid of campers, but that was about it. After some time, they fixed the streaks too, but by then a lot of people were turned off to the game. To make matters worse, the hacking in this game was horrible. By now, many people had hacked their Wii using the homebrew channel, and a lot of public matches were hacked. Finding a legitimate hack-free search and destroy match was practically impossible. Predator missiles were usually a dead giveaway because the Wii version did not include them as a killstreak, but hackers managed to gain access to them. The game was also kind of glitchy. Most notably, there was an exploit that essentially allowed people to aimbot for a while. It involved shooting the XM25, a secondary launcher, into the sky 5 or 6 times, and then shooting your gun directly into the ground. Somehow, your bullets would connect, and you'd get a lot of kills. As you can imagine, the glitch spread very quickly, and soon everybody was doing it. Towards the end of Modern Warfare 3's life cycle, the Call of Duty Wii community was excitedly expecting the arrival of the Wii U, which would finally bring us HD graphics, larger player numbers, downloadable content, and more. Or so we thought. Black Ops 2 was released on the Wii U as a launch title, and it was showcased several times leading up to the Wii U's release. This built up a tremendous amount of hype for the game, and showed the Wii U gamepad being used in conjunction with the Wii Remote in ways that were revolutionary for the Call of Duty series at the time. For the first time ever, we received all of the score streaks and received pretty much the same version of the game as the other consoles. One could argue that this version of Black Ops 2 was actually the best version at launch, as it also supported the Wii Remote and Nunchuck controllers, which worked really well at higher FPS and in HD. They also featured the gamepad, which allowed players to play remotely with no restrictions. It could render the full map from above, unlike on the Wii, so we got all the big kill streaks like the Lodestar and the VTOL warship. For the first time on a Nintendo console, we finally had a Call of Duty game with kill cams. We could finally watch how people died, or go for crazy final kill cams. Theater mode also made its first appearance and allowed players to save their best cross-map tomahawks, quad feeds, and other crazy plays, and enabled content creators to get creative. The gamepad could actually be used as a sort of secondary controller to call in score streaks. You could also play 2-player online, one person could play on the gamepad and one on the TV, and you wouldn't have to split your screen. It also featured a great campaign and zombies mode with transit. There was no doubt, this game was incredibly enjoyable, and it was the best Call of Duty experience on Nintendo to date. But would it sell a lot of copies? Unfortunately, not really. Black Ops 2 Wii U sold poorly, and never really established the same kind of community as previous Call of Duty Wii games. The highest number of players I've ever seen online at once was probably around 3,000, if only cross-play across consoles was introduced back then. Our hopes for receiving downloadable content for the first time were also smashed, as DLC was never brought to the Wii U until July 8, 2014, over a year and a half after the game's release. Interestingly, Treyarch gave the Call of Duty Wii U community 2 DLC maps for free, Nuketown 2025 for Black Ops 2, and Freefall for Ghosts Wii U. This really came out of nowhere, and it was kind of confusing why we ended up getting these maps at this time, but all the players who were still playing the game enjoyed it. The last Call of Duty game to make it to a Nintendo console was Call of Duty Ghosts for the Wii U. Following up on Black Ops 2, Ghosts offered the same gamepad and Wii Remote capabilities. You could play remotely on the gamepad, use it to call in score streaks, or bring it to the bathroom if you wanted to. The Wii Remote control scheme returned, and it was probably as smooth as ever. The Wii Remote controllers were actually a major selling point for those playing COD on Nintendo, and I know many people to this day who are die-hard Wii Remote users and even found ways to use these controllers on PlayStation or Xbox after COD Nintendo died out. Ghosts was probably just as unpopular for the Wii U as Black Ops 2. There was a solid community and player base of a few thousand online at a time. Again, we pretty much had the same Call of Duty game at launch as the other consoles did, and it wasn't until DLC packs and new guns came out for the other consoles that the Wii U version became inferior to its counterparts. Interestingly, this was the first Call of Duty Nintendo game to receive a DLC map during its lifetime. As I mentioned earlier, Freefall was released and was free for the community to download and play. The game featured a campaign and a new game mode called Extinction that offered a fun, unique experience. Ultimately, the Wii U Call of Duties were great all around. From development to release, these two games really impressed me. But COD Wii U never really took off and never really sold well, and that seemed to be the end of Call of Duty on Nintendo consoles. The Nintendo Switch was released years later, and despite various rumors and the massive success of the Switch, COD never returned. The YouTube community persisted during these years, but has slowly dissolved as people moved to different games and different consoles. That's partially why I wanted to make this video, to try and preserve these memories for many more years to come. As on the other consoles, some people ended up creating YouTube content with Call of Duty on the Wii and Wii U. COD was the game to post on YouTube back then. Some of the largest YouTube channels got the most viewers from uploading Call of Duty. Streaming wasn't quite as common yet, and the most popular type of video was created by simply taking a good gameplay, doing a commentary over it, and uploading it. Despite the Call of Duty Nintendo community always being much smaller than the other consoles, it was a very tight-knit community on the YouTube platform as well. The Call of Duty Wii community, in my opinion, was a good size. It was large enough to always find new content or find new gaming trends, but small enough to follow pretty much everything and know what was happening within the community. At the time of my first video, I didn't really know that the Call of Duty Wii community on YouTube was so small or underrepresented.
What's up guys, this is Conboy here, and today I have a cage match on Shipment.
As I began uploading more when Black Ops Wii came out, I better learned how to properly deal with the endless loads of Wii hate comments. Most of them started coming in when I was trying to get noticed by Machinima. Back then, Machinima had a Facebook page where videos could be shared and upvoted by the community. The top videos got attention from Machinima employees and would sometimes be offered a partnership. So I made a video entitled, "We on Machinima? It's our turn, will you help?" and uploaded it to the Facebook page. Being the amazing subscribers that you all are, you guys helped the video get to the top of the page.
Now the app has been getting flooded with several Wii videos, like there's this unwritten movement or revolution for Wii players to unite. Not so much. If you're still playing the Wii, then you must be drunk. And playing the Wii drunk or high is the only time it's enjoyable for adults. To you Wii fanboys out there, quit being delusional and really think about the monies that your parents shelled out for this piece of epic crap of machine. So go yourself, Wii. Go yourself with a giant...
I'm not really sure why my 15-year-old self was so revved up to defend the Wii, But that was my community, and Brewmax's video didn't sit too well with me at the time. Of course, there were always a load of funny or interesting Wii hate comments too. For every hate comment though, there was a positive comment from one of you guys. I'm not sure who started using the term Wii community to describe us, but that's pretty much what we became known as. The Wii community was at its peak during Black Ops 1, and this was probably the most fun I've ever had playing and interacting with others on a video game, ever. Additionally, I began to make a lot of new friends through YouTube, joining clans, playing game battles, uploading videos, and gaining new subscribers. The Wii community on YouTube seemed to start with a variable group of content creators that uploaded anything from montages to clips to glitch videos. In fact, I probably first watched a YouTube Call of Duty Wii video to find out how to glitch under Cliffside in World at War or something. There was a YouTuber called Extramundo who unfortunately deleted his channel, I think, who uploaded countless glitch videos on World at War and had a pretty large following at the time. Other YouTubers like BoardGuck and Dazran303 began uploading Nintendo videos well over a decade ago and were some of the original pioneers of the Wii community. BoardGuck first uploaded Quantum of Solace over 10 years ago and uploaded his first Call of Duty Nintendo video around the same time. Dazran began in a similar way. He first uploaded Quantum of Solace in addition to many other Nintendo games, including consistent Call of Duty content. Ice Blue X, Fray Darkness, Mr. Ian 15, BMF Murder, J Reflex 93 are some of the other names you may be familiar with. These guys were around since the beginning and helped shape the early Wii community on YouTube. At its peak, there were many montage channels, community channels, clip of the day channels, and much more. Dazran303, Savage No Scope, Mr. Hunt and Noobs, The Hey Boys, ArrowCod Maniac, Flux Clan, Sync Clan, C4K Cookie, The Fightin' Robot, Pascalino Wii, Mad Mike, Improved Supa, Snorth93, Burner 2KO, Kidlot 404, Alex Wii, The Pythnator, and many more were frequent uploaders in the community, and some of the most popular as well. I got involved in a lot of community channels, including Wii Clip of the Day, Cinema Nintendo, and Wii Clips 24/7, who all uploaded crazy clips of in-game content from the community. I always enjoyed watching these channels because they took submissions from anyone and everyone who was able to record their gameplay.
What is going on, Wii community? My name is Asiko, and welcome back to another episode of Wii Clips 24/7. Today, we have a clip by the name of PlayShift. His channel link is in the description. He gets a quad feed on Express. Really nice clip. It's a Final Kill Cam, but it's not in this video. It's probably on his channel. You can go check it out if you want.
One of these channels in particular stands out in my mind. Call of Duty Wii Cinema. Back in the earlier days of Call of Duty on YouTube, community channels were much more popular. These channels uploaded content from various creators in the community, whether it be montages, commentary, top 10 countdowns, or other videos, allowing the creator to gain more exposure. Call of Duty Wii Cinema, or CoD WC, was the original and probably the largest community channel for Call of Duty on the Wii. It was created and run by a guy named EdFan7, who contacted me very early in my YouTube career and asked if I was interested in uploading. I accepted and became a director and frequent uploader to the channel. Unfortunately, EdFan7 deleted the channel a few years ago, and all of the glorious content from the community vanished at the click of a button. Call of Duty Wii Cinema was great because it helped smaller content creators and really made the community a more tight-knit place. If you ask me what I'm most proud of during my time on YouTube in the gaming community, it is our series of 5 community montages that we all worked together to create. I don't remember where the idea came from to try a community montage, but man, were these montages good. I asked for you guys to submit all of your best in-game clips from Black Ops Wii, then Modern Warfare 3 Wii, and then eventually other games like The Conduit. What I loved so much about these videos was the collaborative effort from everybody. Everyone had to submit their clips, then the Hey Boys, Tyler, and Nova had to edit, and we all got to enjoy the end result. Some of these montages even went somewhat viral in the Call of Duty community back then, and we received a lot of positive comments from other console players like FaZe Pomage and more. To this day, I still watch these videos back sometimes, and they still give me chills. Black Ops Wii was really where the community blossomed, and we started seeing more creative content. YouTube teams like We Will Save, Sync Sniping, Team Flux Wii, Plur, Regular, and more. Montages were also an integral part of the community, and as the community developed, we saw montages go from solid triple kills or no scopes in World at War, to quad feeds in Modern Warfare Reflex, to triple collats and trick shots in Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3. Back in the day, montages were seemingly more popular and drew a lot more attention. I enjoyed the montage community for the most part. From individual to clan montages, they were all pretty good. I made a few montages of my own throughout the years, which has taught me a lot about video editing. I'm still kind of proud of these montages, although they're pretty cringy now, about a decade later. A Black Ops Wii montage called Revolution, for some reason, and a Unite Dueltage with Chaos were probably some of my more popular montages. There were some things within our community that made our montages unique. We had a unique control setup, and the Wii Remote and Nunchuck were often considered harder to use when it came to quickscoping, trick shots, and obtaining feeds. There were some players who seemed to master the Wii Remote when it came down to getting montage-worthy clips though. For the most part, montages consisted mostly of dual analog Classic Controller Pro clips. And for some reason, it created a kind of weird controversy. What kind of Call of Duty Wii documentary would this be if we didn't talk about hackers? The Wii was one of the easiest consoles to cheat on, and after a few years the amount of cheaters increased dramatically. Running into a cheater on CoD Wii became pretty common, especially within certain game modes. Cheaters managed to get God mode, no recoil, infinite ammo, no clip, and even Predator missiles in certain games. What made it worse was that sometimes it was hard to prove if someone was hacking, because the game lacked kill cams and theater mode. You had to have a pretty good sense for the game to be able to tell if someone was pre-aiming or pre-firing. Other times it was much more obvious. Cheaters were relatively rare in Call of Duty 4 Reflex and World at War, but they noticeably increased in Black Ops. 1023 rocket ammo? Unlimited rockets. When Modern Warfare 3 came out, they were very common. Search and destroy matches usually became a battleground for cheaters. Predator missiles dropping, aimbots, wall hacks were common practice here. It was hard to find a legit search and destroy match. Cheaters also started messing with people's accounts on Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops, including mine. This account hopping made it difficult to keep track of a legitimate profile and level because your stats, level, and everything you earned could be wiped out by a cheater within a second. I never really understood using cheats in public matches to ruin other people's experiences. Most of the cheaters who resorted to using these mods were flat out bad at the game, or just enjoyed kind of bullying people around in a multiplayer game. To this day, you can still log into Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops Wii and find cheaters, some of which are still just as toxic, rude, and belligerent as ever. Not all cheaters are bad though. Some were willing to restore your account's level and unlock things for you again. Some hosted very cool modded lobbies and game modes and private matches. I play some of these on stream sometimes. And some made really cool codes, but never released them to be used in public matches. I respect those who make these codes, as that undoubtedly takes a good amount of knowledge and skill. People like Hedowin2, Zeke, Bully, and others at Wii Plaza, but I had much less respect for those who simply copied and pasted these codes and used them in public matches to ruin a lot of people's experiences on the game. Joining clans or hanging out in XAT chats, also known as the Discord of 2010, really made gaming a lot more immersive and more fun. This is where I met most of my friends who I still talk to and game with to date. You all may remember some of the more popular clans. In World at War, some of the largest ones included TKS, XW, XS, BC, and Icon. Modern Warfare Reflex formed RXN, UE, TheBrotherhood, and many more. As the community grew, these clans formed into sniping teams, competitive Gamebattles teams, trick-shotting crews, and even cheater and hacking clans too. I hopped around to different clans during my time and found some great friends. Eventually, I helped form the Brotherhood. Playing in such a small, tight-knit community allowed for the creation of lasting friendships and bonds. Like with any game, it's usually a lot more fun with a good group of friends. Over the years, my friend group formed a clan called the Brotherhood. Some of the members were Omega HD, AK equals Win, Savage No Scope, Mr. Hunt Noobs, Dead Aim, X Creed, Caitlyn, Kitten, Bloop, X Chaos, and a few more. Ultimately, we had a ton of fun gaming, talking in Skype chats until early in the morning, and making YouTube videos. Some of my best gaming memories definitely involve the Brotherhood. Gamebattles was one of the original competitive websites that allowed gamers to put on their tryhard pants and compete against some of the best, sometimes for money and all times for bragging rights. You and your clan would sign up for the website, create a team, and challenge other teams or players to clan wars on various games, including the earlier Call of Duties on the Wii. If you won more, your teams would rise up to the top of the ladder and would eventually compete in a playoff tournament to be crowned winner of that season. Gamebattles supported Call of Duty World at War, Modern Warfare Reflex, and Black Ops on the Wii. After that, esports began to explode in popularity, and Gamebattles was purchased by MLG. Before the time of donkey laughing or taking the L after killing somebody, Gamebattles was where all of gaming's toxicity was held. Even in the smaller Call of Duty Wii community, tensions were high and there was a lot of trash talking and accusations between teams. But competitive was so unbelievably fun. In World at War, I was part of the X-Alphite Warriors, XW clan, who was usually towards the top of the ladder. Even though I was on their 5th team full of randoms, it was still pretty fun. A pretty cool memory I have is competing in the playoffs of the Black Ops Wii ladders with the Brotherhood and trying to take down some of the top teams. Despite almost a decade now without a Call of Duty on a Nintendo platform, there remains a surprisingly active community on pretty much every game. Last time I checked a few months ago from this video's release, you can still find a few matches on Call of Duty 4, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 2 and Ghosts for the Wii U. Unfortunately, when Nintendo shut down its online Wi-Fi connection services for the Wii, World at War went down with it. Luckily, the rest of the Call of Duty Nintendo games didn't run on Nintendo servers. They actually ran on Activision servers, and they remain up and working to this day. However, player counts are steadily dropping, and I would be surprised if these games remain active for more than the next couple years. There also remains a relatively active community of snipers and trickshotters, still getting ever more creative shots with unique Wii Remote motions. A few individuals have joined large, cross-platform clans that upload crazy montages to this day, and their Wii clips are happily accepted and praised by a large audience. It's awesome to see. Racer and Chili, for example, is with Team Ion. The TWS clan still puts out Black Ops 2 Wii U videos of top 10 plays and other montages. There are still many active Discord servers for many of these games as well. Check the description of this video for links, including the link to my Discord where you can find chats to share your friend codes and party up with people who are still playing these games. Well, all good things have to come to an end. Activision hasn't released a Call of Duty Nintendo since Ghosts, so the community has definitely died out. Looking back, it was kind of amazing that it thrived for as long as it did. We never got any map packs or DLC, the graphics were never as good looking, and we received very little post-launch support. Despite all this, we had a ton of fun, made a bunch of new friends, and made memories that would last. This online gaming community shaped my middle school and high school years. I uploaded over 1,000 YouTube videos, put in months of playing time on these games, and made online friends that I still talk to and game with to this day. I sometimes get nostalgic and go back to watch videos that were made many years ago. It's fun to relive some of these memories and think about the great times we may have had on these games. I hope this video can help you do that as well. I hope it helps you think of a simpler time in your life when all there really was to do was play games. I hope that it helps you escape some of the stresses of your life today, even if it's just for a half hour or so. Lastly, I wanted to thank each and every one of you guys for sticking with me through my journey. Many of you all have been here for the better part of a decade. We've essentially watched each other grow up and change. Some have moved on, some have stayed, but I will never forget this small amount of time and space that we all shared together. I'm not sure what's in store for the future of my YouTube channel, but I want to thank you all for being a part of my journey. Thank you all. I love you guys.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mega, the fighting robot, aka the new kid on the block, and by the block, I do mean is Wii. I met some of my best friends from the Call of Duty Wii community. Mr. Hunt Noobs, oh yeah, Cookie, that's another one. I want to thank all y'all from the bottom of my heart, man. Y'all made my experience over there lifelong. It's your boy Mega, the fighting robot. I'm going, y'all. Love.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Super. If I can describe what I loved about the Call of Duty Wii community, I think it's pretty obvious and a lot of us know what it is. It's just the tight-knit community we had. Everyone was friends, or we all knew each other and we'd help each other out just because we were good friends. I've met a bunch of cool guys from the Call of Duty Wii community. I wouldn't change it for the world. I loved the community. I loved everyone on it. Thanks for listening. Later.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Savage No Scope, aka X Savage here. I just want to thank the Wii community for the support over the years. You guys are the best. I had an awesome time making videos and playing Black Ops 1.
Hey everybody, my name is Killout404, and what I remember the most, the biggest sort of feature for playing on the Wii was the controller, the Wii Remote. It was really nice to aim with the Wii Remote because of the precision, the control you have over your aiming. Having that sort of level of control on console was really cool. So I think my biggest takeaway for the Wii community is that we were just trying to emulate what we were seeing on the other side of the fence.
So the Call of Duty Wii community. That was a really fun time. Definitely one of the friendliest and best communities I think I've ever been a part of. Definitely something I remember a lot from the community was Mr. Hunt Noobs was definitely one of my favorite YouTubers. And it's pretty crazy to see like some of the people who were part of the Wii community back then are like doing new things now that I still see them. Like we got Sneeko. Oh, and then also Colonies. Colonies made Call of Duty Wii content. And now myself, my channel's gotten bigger now too, thanks to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And, you know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Call of Duty Wii community.
The Call of Duty Wii and Wii U days were the golden age of YouTube, in my opinion. I just got so excited whenever I saw a Convoy or a Dazran or a Hunting Noobs video in my sub box, and those YouTubers alongside people like Fate, Improved, Super, Savage No Scope. What I loved about the community as well was that we were like a family. Everybody did comment on everybody's videos. It was just really cool to see. I will leave you by saying long live the Wii community, long live the Wii Remote.
Some of my favorite memories are definitely playing hacked lobbies on maps like Showdown, where people would have a super sprint and you could just fly up into the air and just shoot people as you fell down to your death over and over again. Those were wild days. I haven't seen anything like it on consoles since.